You ever work on a project, whether it's photo, video, really doesn't matter. It can be anything in life. And you're just like, something's missing. You know what I mean? Like it's good, but it's not good enough. Like, this ain't bad. What I produce isn't horrible, but I know I can make this thing a whole lot better. Sometimes you really gotta just sit there and learn how to be okay with being good enough. Having that same mindset every time some shit is not good, every time something is not right, every time something is not like the way you want, and it's not like, man, this the one, but it ain't hitting like the one. You gotta learn how to just, this is good enough. Not every time, but sometimes, because what you're gonna do, you're gonna dig a hole, bro. I ain't gonna lie, you're gonna dig a hole and you're never gonna post, you're never gonna drop, you're never gonna produce, you're never gonna create. And when you do, you're never gonna like feel fulfilled. You're never gonna enjoy it. Let me break it down. It was about 2 years ago when I heard, matter of fact, it was about 3 years ago when I heard the saying, sometimes good is good enough. And I sat there and thought about it because I was like, that does not relate to me at all. Like me personally, I'm a perfectionist. I like my stuff to be the way I envisioned it, the way I know I can do it, the way I want it to be done, the way I want it to look. I want it to be how I want it to be. And I started to realize over time, after hearing good is good enough, that I started realizing like, man, I ain't dropping the damn thing. I ain't like, everything that I'm starting on, I'm not finishing it. Or everything that I'm finishing, I'm not liking it. Because it ain't perfect. It ain't here, it's here. Oh wait, I'm not in the frame. It ain't here, it's here. I had to stop and ask myself because I was like, I'm trying to be consistent posting on a certain schedule. I'm trying to create certain things, but like, what's really stopping me? Because I got the idea, I got the plan, but when I do it, it's always something wrong. And I realized being a perfectionist for myself ain't really helping me at all. A lot of people that really begin to realize that they're perfectionists, they start to realize like, this shit is really unhealthy. It's cool being a perfectionist and wanting to do stuff right the best you can. That's cool, that's great. But there's a line, there's a thin line that you gotta really watch. Because if you do that for everything, oh man, you're going downhill with no matter what you do. And the longer you maintain and continue to be a perfectionist, man, you're gonna sabotage relationships, you're gonna sabotage work ethic, you're gonna sabotage work itself, you're just gonna sabotage a lot of things. Even if you do get the work to be perfect, you might even damage and sabotage some mental health and just your emotions over time. Now, I'm not saying anything you do, everything you do, you gotta just be like, yeah, that's good enough, that's good enough. Don't half-ass it, like put your all into it and do it. If you don't like it, go back to the drawing board, do it again, over and over again until you're satisfied with it. But there comes sometimes when you're doing some projects, photo, video, something cinematic, and you're just like, bruh, this just ain't it. It's great, it's solid, but it just ain't it how I really, really want it to be. And then that jump hinders you from dropping, that jump hinders you from posting, that jump hinders you from really just overall practicing your craft. And now you in a hole. Now you're going back to the drawing board over and over and over again when you could have been done. Being satisfied and good with good enough is not accepting mediocrity. It's not accepting like some trash and just like, I'm not really gonna put my all into it. No, being okay with good enough is understanding that every day, bro, you can't do shit perfect. You can't wake up and do the same thing perfect every single day. It don't matter if you do it for 10, 20, 30 plus years straight. You can be doing it as long as you want to. You're not gonna be doing it perfect every single time. You might get more consistent at being perfect in your own eyes or having things done the way you want it to, but every day it's not gonna be perfect. You gotta be okay and be comfortable and understand that, bro, you're human. You're automatically born flawed. Your all today might only be 85%. Well, give a full-fledged 85%. You might not be able to give 100% every single time. You might only be able to give 70. Well, go ahead and give all of the 70 you got and make it the best 70% you ever gave. That's what being okay with good enough means. It doesn't mean I'm gonna half-ass it, I'm gonna barely do it, and that's gonna be that. And I'm gonna just accept it. I'm gonna accept this mediocrity. I'm gonna accept this, you know what I'm saying? Hello? Hello? Shot cut my phone. So you gotta be okay with sometimes good is good enough. Keyword, sometimes. Sometimes. It don't mean every time, it just means sometimes. And I feel like I had to hop on here and say that today because especially in our world, man, that can create a lot of issues with the, man, this ain't good enough, this ain't good enough. You can create that over and over and over again. Look at my fingers. That's how many times you'll do it, and then that'll just lead you down the wrong road. And then your creative space, your creative thought process, and just you in general, you're tarnishing yourself, man. You're hurting yourself in the long run. Don't do that. I just want to get on here and tell y'all that. I'm gonna get up out of here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Much love. I need a new outro. I'll find one soon. But until then, I'm out.